If you earned £17 million a year, would this be the sound of your world?
How about we pretend to go in real space? Hey, Mommy, can we pretend to go to outer space?
Hey there, Ryan. If you want to go to outer space, you gotta put on your spacesuit like this.
That's Ryan's Toy View. It's a YouTube channel that earned 7-year-old Ryan and his parents, who you heard there, a cool $22 million last year. It's no wonder having a YouTube channel is becoming a more and more common aspiration for children as well as adults. But how healthy is it? Is it any different from wanting to be a pop star back in the day? Let's talk about this with Finn Wycherley, who's a social media, digital and marketing expert. Morning, Finn.
Good morning, Stephen.
Also with me on this is Louise Dillon from Armadillo Social, who gives talks to parents and kids on the effects that social media can have. Hi, Louise.
Hi.
Finn, we'll start with you on this. How do youngsters, especially that young, make money from YouTube, from vlogging on YouTube?
So the basic kind of business model is very much like setting up a magazine or a newspaper. You'll make the money from, you'll make a bit of money from YouTube, from the circulation numbers and everything. But the main money comes from the actual brands that want to work with you. So if you imagine like you're the Beano or the Sunday Post, and 20% of your income will come from people actually buying the publication off the street, but 80% of your revenue will come from the companies and the products and services that want to advertise to the people who are buying.
Is this all down to numbers then, Finn? Do you trigger when you reach a certain number of followers and then the brands become interested in you? Or can it be down to, this is a very specific one, Ryan, it's all about toys. Can it be down to the demographic that you've got and your own interest?
Yeah, absolutely. You can become massive in a very, very small niche. So you can become a micro influencer. You don't have to have a huge following if you're dominating in a very small area. So say, for example, you're somebody who reviews babies' nappies. You could be the number one person in the world for all kinds of reviews in that kind of space, and all the brands will want to make sure that they're throwing nappies and opportunities and holidays and cars at you in order to make sure they get their nappies get a good review in front of your particular audience.
I'm not sure I'd be delighted if someone was flinging nappies at me, but take your point here. Isn't this just another avenue for pushy parents, Finn? How much say are the kids actually having in all this?
Well, in the Ryan case, obviously, he's been in business technically for 3 years. So that would mean that he actually started when he was 4. So I imagine a lot of it has come from the parents who are obviously proud parents and showing off their kids, but also they're seeing a great opportunity to make some nice cash, let's call it that way. And the interesting thing, since I've been talking about it with lots of people this week, is that so many people are saying, yeah, my kid really wants to be not a YouTuber, as we call it here in Scotland, but a YouTuber, because all of them are like sitting down watching their favorite YouTube influencer and are just mad keen for the opportunities that this can bring. And I think, when you're thinking about kids dreaming of being entrepreneurs, it can only be a good thing for Scotland.
Finn, stay with us. Here's Louise Dillon from Armadillo Social, who gives talks to parents and kids on the effects of this. Hi, Louise.
Hi.
How healthy do you think it is for kids to have their own YouTube channels at that kind of age?
I mean, I think the younger they are, the more parental influence that is going to have. So a 4-year-old doesn't actually want a YouTube channel. His parents want him to have one. So it's all about parental guidance and moderation. My children have a YouTube channel. They don't post to it terribly often, but I check what they put up and check that I'm happy with it and check that it's sort of keeping them safe. And for them, it's a really fun, creative thing to do. They're talking about their passions, they're talking about their hobbies, they're learning really good skills. So I don't really see it as being a massive issue in itself, any more than me wanting to be a Blue Peter presenter when I was younger. But it's about parents taking an active interest and parents being responsible parents and looking after their children whilst they're doing it.
Yeah, work with me on that though, Louise, because, let's take Ryan as an example here. He's 7, that's great. So maybe in 5 or 6 years' time, when he's knocking on the door of being a teenager, and maybe his YouTube channel has kind of evolved as a result of that, which is fine. Maybe he's not keen for his parents to be moderating his conversations with followers. What happens then?
Well, I think, to be honest, it's no different to child stars of any era. I mean, you can talk about Judy Garland, you can talk about Michael Jackson, all of these people who've had Macaulay Culkin, all of these people who've had pushy parents and eventually they've kind of rebelled against them. So I think the little children who were being sort of pushed into it by their parents are quite different to the slightly older children who want to kind of take responsibility for themselves. But certainly, obviously, even as a teenager, he's still a child and his parents are still going to have to take responsibility for that on his behalf.
You know, Louise, though, part of the pressure around this is building your number of followers, your subscribers, the views and all that kind of thing. And especially as children grow up, does that not inevitably involve kind of chasing content, saying things and doing things which could potentially get them into trouble?
I mean, I think it does. And that's one of the things that, again, as a parent, you have to be really aware of. I mean, the big scandal of YouTube this year was Logan Paul, who is very popular with children, but managed to go to Japan and record a YouTube video with someone who had taken their own life and showed footage of that body, which was obviously appalling. So, I mean, one of the downsides of YouTube is it doesn't have the guidance that and the controls that television programs have, for example. But once again, it's about being a responsible parent and guiding your child in that way and encouraging them to showcase their passions and their hobbies and their personality, but give them some perspective. So make sure that they're not just chasing how many subscribers and likes they've got, watching what people are commenting, making sure they're not checking it every day and monitoring their use, because actually in moderation it's not a problem. It's only when they're left to their own devices that it becomes tricky.
Finn, I'm looking at a list here of the top 10 careers kids would like to do when they grow up. Number 10 is a lawyer. Number 7 is a TV presenter. 6 is a nurse. 4 is an actor. 3 is a musician. Number 1 is a YouTuber. Is that healthy?
I think it's as healthy as saying, okay, I want to set up a magazine. You know, the opportunities are there. The technology is here right now. The magazine days, the kind of print journalism of the old days is kind of dying on its feet. Whereas now that you can access like literally billions of people by putting out some good content and getting some good revenue on the back of it. It's a golden opportunity, and I think that the Scots are really good at finding good opportunities historically and jumping all over them. So it can only be encouraged, I think.
It's the new gold rush, isn't
Indeed.
it, out there? And it comes down to creative content. If you want the views and you want the followers, you're going to have to be good at it, and you're going to have to come up with the ideas. And there's nothing wrong with that, is there?
Exactly. It's all about creativity. It's all about entrepreneurialism. It's all about timing. It's all about having your finger on the pulse of what people are looking for at the moment. Because obviously, what might be popular right now might not be popular in a year's time. So you always have to keep on evolving in any business.
Finn, thanks for your time this morning. Finn Wycherley is a social media expert, and we heard from Louise Dillon as well at Armadillo Social, who helps parents and kids about the effects of social media. Right.